ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930 present The Drive. Brought to you by Huntington Federal Savings Bank. Local then, local now. Member FDIC.
Welcome into the Tuesday, March 17th edition. Your drive begins now on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930. I'm your host, Paul Swann. Thanks for tuning in. We are going to be here until 6 o'clock. We'll take your phone calls, 877-420-TALK. That is 877-420-8255. Our phone lines this hour brought to you by Miller Lite. Miller Lite, hold true, great taste, only 96 calories. It is the original light beer. Now, you guys know, if you've been listening to the program over the last several weeks, that I've got Spencer Dupuis, who is an intern at Marshall University, with me here as a student there. And I love Spencer to death, but I don't think I've been doing a good job of actually teaching him. So I brought in today the guy that set the standard for interns on this program. Also, he is one of the sports reporters for the Herald-Dispatch and the various publications for HD Media. Luke Creasy in today. So it's twofold reason why he's here. One, to set a good example for Spencer.
I try. I do my best.
I
really
know.
Do.
And two, we're going to talk a little high school basketball with you today, among other things. And, of course, Luke's here to get your phone calls as well.
Bring them on.
It's been a difficult time, not just for us personally with everything that's been going on with the COVID-19 breakout, also from the sports side of things, because usually sports is the release. It's sort of where we go when things are bad. We have that as an escape, and now we don't have that as an escape. And there are so many stories that are attached to that. And you think, okay, the NBA is going to be fine. The NHL is going to be fine. Major League Baseball, the NFL even, these guys are highly paid. Everything's going to be fine. And then you get down to the college kids, and then you start thinking about the high school kids, and that's where you cover most of your beat usually in the high school scene for the Herald-Dispatch. And these kids are probably getting hit the worst when it comes to just trying to deal with the emotion of the reality that we're in now.
Yeah, I mean, all of this has really picked up steam over the last week, because this time a week ago we weren't really talking about it anywhere in this area. Yeah, we knew about it. You hear stories from New York, California, Washington, all those areas, but it really didn't hit home for a lot of people here until you started to see the professionals start to cancel. Obviously, everything changed when Rudy Gobert had tested positive for coronavirus, and that kind of sent everything into a landslide. And then next thing you know, a day later, they're announcing at the girls' state basketball tournament, hey, this is the last game, and we're not picking it up anytime soon. And there were a lot of emotions that went along with that, and I didn't get a chance to be there that day. That's a whole different story as to why I wasn't there. I lost a tire on the interstate. That was fun.
That's a great story, by the way.
A great story, and glad I'm here to tell it. But no, it's from everything that I've gathered, it's just a wider range of emotions. Obviously, kids work to get to that point. That's the goal all year long, is to get to Charleston, get to the what's it called now? It's not the Civic Center, but it's the Coliseum and Convention Center. Get there and then see what happens. That's the goal all year long. And then you have teams that didn't even get a chance to show what they were made of in the tournament. Right here down the street, one of them, Huntington St. Joe. Obviously, a great season for them, nationally ranked. Had a chance to really put their name on a decade of dominance here in high school basketball, and they didn't even get to see the floor. It's weird for the athletes, I'm sure, but also, I watched marble racing yesterday morning and got excited about it. Like, I don't know what to do with myself.
You watch marble racing. You want to hear a sad story?
Let's hear it.
I canceled ESPN Plus.
Really? The only reason I've capped it is because I've enjoyed watching the 30 for 30s.
Okay.
That's the only reason I've capped it, because they archive all of those. And I actually did watch an interesting one. I went back because, I'm not watching the NBA or covering high school baseball or softball.
Right.
That's not happening now. But I did watch one about the 1989 World Series between the A's and the Giants, where an earthquake stopped Game 3.
I remember that. I mean, I wasn't there. I'm not like Woody Woodrum. I wasn't there. But
that was interesting, but it really kind of puts into perspective what it takes to stop sports.
Yep.
We don't think about that very often, and think about how often we take for granted the fact that sports are happening and it's a constant. And when it's not there, you get excited about things like marble racing. ESPN tweeted out a video of Duck Duck Goose the other day, like. This is where we're at right now, but for the foreseeable future, we'll deal with it.
Yesterday was Stone Cold Steve Austin Day, so I reminisced a little bit about all the years watching professional wrestling. I was a big wrestling fan back in the day, huge. You didn't know that, did you?
I did not know that.
Yeah, I was a huge.
I did not know that.
You're just you're like, what? You're stunned.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah, it was big back in the day. It was real.
That's
by the
awesome.
way. It was real.
Did you ever wrestle though?
No. I wasn't backyard wrestling or doing anything like that. I had some sense about me. Flare chops.
I'm proud of
maybe
none of that like semi-pro.
No, none of that as
stuff.
well.
Okay,
none of that as well. So
I can respect that.
We're going to take our first break. We'll come back. Luke is here for another reason. He's got nothing better to do but stay isolated in place, the house. So he's here today on the program.
Social distancing.
Yeah, you're doing it properly though. I think so. You're doing. We've got like.
I appreciate it.
We've got about 6 seats.
We do. And
Yeah.
we've got hand sanitizer.
Oh,
here
by
in
the
studio.
way, let me tell you right now before we hit the break. I've had issues with Spencer, who I don't want to call him a protege of yours. I mean, he came up after you at MUL. Luke would come in this studio and book guests automatically for me, or he would just bring me things like a tasty beverage. I joked around with Luke today. I said, "Hey, Luke, when you're coming in, just bring me some hand sanitizer and get me a Coke with orange from Wendy's." And I have now in my possession some hand sanitizer and some Coke orange from Wendy's. So you're really setting the standard for what intern Spencer Dupuis has to do.
Set the bar, keep the bar. He's capable of reaching it.
I hope so. I mean, his grade depends on it. We're going to keep it light on the program just a little bit, but we're going to talk high school basketball when we come back. And Luke, who do we got coming up? Because you're like back to the old days of booking the show.
Yeah, back to my good buddy Adam Adkins, second-year coach out at Wayne High School. He'll be joining us to talk about his take on everything. I've talked to a couple different coaches, but I haven't gotten to speak with him yet. And last time I did, he was excited about the season coming up. So we'll get his thoughts on everything because I'm sure he's got a little more introspective than I do.
So we'll talk to Coach when we continue with today's edition of The Drive here on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
Now, back to The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
Welcome back to the Tuesday edition. It is The Drive on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930. I'm Paul Swann. I've got with me in studio today from the Herald-Dispatch and all other publications of HD Media, Luke Creasy, covers the high school beat for HD Media, among other things.
Yep.
Among other things.
A lot of
I bet your world's been turned upside down.
among many other things.
Yeah.
We're all coronavirus reporters now.
Yes, you are. But Luke is, of course, former show producer of this program, and, of course, he's got a pass. He can come in anytime he wants to, unannounced even.
Hey.
This was pre-arranged, but he can come in unannounced anytime. And this is sort of, you're doing double duty today. You're helping me with the show, and this could be a future story because we've got a special guest on the program.
Yeah, Adam Adkins, head coach of the Wayne baseball team. And Coach, I know we got a chance to speak a couple of weeks ago about the excitement about the upcoming season, but time changes things, huh?
I'll say it's hit us hard, kind of a little out of nowhere, but kind of we knew something was going to come up because while I work at the middle school, we knew something was going to impact our baseball season.
Well, you look at kind of how things have progressed since this time a week ago. Obviously, this time last week you're getting ready to practice and get ready for that season opening game. And how did you find out first about the high school season being postponed, the decision to halt everything until at least April 10th? How did you find out about that, and how did you tell your team?
first, like I said, I work in a school system, I knew we was going to cancel school, and then my players were the ones that kind of holding me first, started freaking out, asking like, Coach, hey, we've seen this on the state site, explaining about where hey, we're out till April 10th. So I was telling them guys like I'd have to have an official word, and know it impacts them more because that is their 4 years of high school. So I mean, I was trying to get them calm before I got to this. When I did get the official word, I got them at school, had a big meeting, talked to them, trying to get their mind right, explain some things of why they have to do this and how it's gonna. It does think that we could lose some games, but it's just better for like the country as a whole to make sure to get this virus out of the country.
Coach, this is Paul Swann. What are you doing now after the announcement was made and everything's been put on hold? What are you doing as far as with your team? Are you in constant contact with them? Are they reaching out to you? Because I know you can't just say, hey, we'll see you in a few weeks, hope we can practice. So I know you probably have to attend to them on a daily basis, at least to keep them, hopefully, in the right mindset.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's the hardest thing is because we're actually not allowed to be like on a school property kind of a thing to have like an organized practice. So it's kind of hard to get the whole team together. But I'm in contact with several of the boys every day. Like when I talked to them, I had that meeting that I can't be around, and if I'm not around, you still got to get your bullpens in. You got to get DP somewhere. We have little league fields around that has batting cages if they can't get into the school field. It's very important because once we hear the date that we're allowed to come back, and if we say, hey, like we can start the games immediately, I want them to be prepared and ready to go so we don't have to have extra practices. We can get many games in without having those extra practices that's going to hold us back.
After last year, obviously a rough season for Wayne, coming off a state championship appearance, just 2 wins a year ago in your first year as coach. But I know you were kind of excited about the potential of this group coming back this year because you returned a lot of those guys that were just getting their first experience in baseball last season. This was going to be a big year for you guys in terms of experience.
We won. Last year was a rough year. We had like a JV kind of a squad. We had a lot of we were just freshmen and sophomores, and then we brought the whole a couple kids. We had a couple kids transfer into Wayne, and we just had a scrimmage last week. And man, they looked outstanding. We played a scoreless game until the 6th inning. Our pitchers were looking good. Hitting was coming around, and we just had our games at the beginning of the year that I knew that we could win, to give these boys some confidence, and then this happened, and then it's just so heartbreaking for the kids. I mean, I don't know if they're going to lose a year or how much they're going to lose them this year, but I mean that's what's so like heartbreaking. It was just taken away from us so fast without knowing what's going to happen in the long run.
Yeah, I mean, you look at stuff like the College World Series and the Women's College World Series for baseball and softball that, they can get that year of eligibility back. The NCAA has already said they're going to try and make that happen, but that's not the case in high school. You don't just get a year of eligibility back. Once your 4 years is done, that can be it, especially if those athletes aren't going on to play at the college level.
Yeah, that's the huge thing that I'm looking at for high school. Like athletes, like we talking, like I've heard you guys talking about the state tournament for basketball. Like, I mean, who knows if they do that and finish it? Those seniors, some of these kids, this could be the time to shine to get them an athletic scholarship because they did so well in the tournament, or this could be their last game and they don't get that chance to finish that game. Like, a lot of teams, it's going to impact their seniors because who knows if they're going to get this year, but. That's why I was trying to tell them, I said, guys, it's going to stink for us, but we don't lose anybody. Like, we don't have it. So I'm looking at trying to give it some kind of positive aspect to look at it that if we do lose this year, we're not losing anybody. So that's one one positive thing to look at it if the season doesn't happen for us.
Joining us on the program, Adam Atkins, the head coach of the Wayne baseball team. Paul Swann, Luke Creasy with you on today's edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930. Coach, what do you think would be the best case scenario? We get past this. You hope you get maybe a short season in. Could we see maybe a really short season, an elongated playoff, just some opportunity for these kids to get on the field once it's deemed appropriate, once again, to try to at least get some semblance of a season in?
Yeah, I was going to say they gave us a date. Like April 10th was a date that they gave us an idea. So if we started around there, that we could get a 10-game season in, well, maybe we can talk to our region that we're in. Maybe we can get a home and a home situated where we can get that situated and get an idea of what we can do for a playoff. Maybe we can figure out if they can extend the season so we can finish the basketball tournament and then give us a longer time to finish that in June, because our season will go over to fall, so that's a plus. So maybe they might look at that kind of situation so we can be able to get more games in for these kids, for the kids that are seniors, or might be their last year playing a high school sport if they don't want to play next year. So, I mean, maybe that's a possibility, is the way they can look at that way, is that our sport doesn't really roll over into the next fall sport. So maybe that's something we can look at too, as if we talk about it later.
Coach, where's most of the direction coming as far as high school athletics now? Is this more at the school level, the county level? Is the WVSSAC more the driving force here? Where do you feel like the leadership's coming from this right now?
Yeah, I would say it's from the top. SSSC, like, they control everything. Like, we hear it from, like, they'll get it, and then they'll pass it down to each county, and then each county decides what we can do, because we have to listen to our board. They're sending us today stating what kind of things that we have to give the kids for academics, and then we're trying to figure out also that standpoint. So I know that we have a email stating that once we get back, we might have to go back at school, which will push us back to the end of April, which is almost the whole season. So that's where it comes from, is we have to listen to our county, and it goes up to the state board.
Coach, on the personal level, how are you dealing with everything? Because you've got to have pretty big shoulders right now to take care of these kids' needs, your needs, and deal with everything external as well.
Yeah, I would say, because this is hard, because, I mean, this is my second year in it. Like, I've never had experience this. I played it as I was a little kid. I've never had experience in a situation where a season was about to start and was canceled like this. So it's personally, it's impacted me a lot. I mean, I didn't know what kind of a thing to do. I didn't know how to answer my kids' questions on my team. I didn't know what to really actually to tell them. I mean, this was a huge impact on personally for me and my team. So I didn't, it's just I'm lost for words and don't know how to express.
Adam Atkins, our guest. Paul Swann, Luke Creasy with you here on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930. Coach, the good news is hopefully soon we're going to have a season, so I'm sure not all is lost. At least that's the outlook that I'm having right now. And you've got plenty of time on your hands, though. What are you doing with this free time? Or do you have free time now that you've got
No, yeah. The free time I got is working on getting my students, work about getting their work out to them, making sure they're still staying busy academically. Sitting here with my wife and kids, that's something I really don't get that much time as family time, because we're so busy throughout the whole year. After school, I'm trying to get the kids ready, because baseball, I'm trying to explain to them it's a year-round kind of thing. I try to get their workout started, and I come home. So, I mean, I'm really enjoying my family time with my wife and kids right now.
Adam Atkins, our guest. Paul Swann, Luke Creasy with you here on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930. Coach, hang in there. Appreciate you coming on. Hopefully we can get this thing going sooner than later, and look forward to seeing what Wayne's going to be looking like. You might have the advantage on a lot of people. If you're pretty much organized the way you are, you might get the jump on everybody if your kids are staying in good shape.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say, right now I know that I just got done, because my nephew plays for the team, and and he keeps in contact with me, and they said that because they met yesterday, hitting and throwing, and today they're doing the same thing. So I mean, that's what I'm like. I like seeing that because they want to win after having this season like we did last year. They want to, and that's what I'm so excited about. Like maybe if we get a chance at playing this year, we'll be ahead of everybody, and we can still have a successful year, even though we might lose a little bit of it.
Well, Coach, always good talking to you, and hope we get to talk some baseball later on this year.
I know. I hope so.
Coach, we'll have you back on soon. Thanks for doing it today. Appreciate it.
I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
That's Adam Atkins, head coach of the Wayne Pioneers. He's probably looking for some baseball on ESPN Plus right now, some classic games or something.
I'm sure there are some replays somewhere.
You could watch the World Series. You know what? We could watch the Houston Astros a couple years ago, and maybe break that down, see how it really happened. Now we know more. We could just go back and break it down.
We could listen for the trash can hits,
exactly,
and try and decide for ourselves what pitch is coming.
Exactly.
I like it.
That could be the game.
I like analysis.
Yeah.
Expert in-depth analysis.
We could go back and do a commentary on that. It's going to be desperate here in a few weeks. We're going to run out of things here.
I'll tell you, one of these days I'm going to come in and I'm going to play a game of 2K in the studio, and we can commentate on that.
I suggested that. The company's not going to pay for the expenditure I need to make that happen. I'm going to have to do this on my own. We've got the TV here. We can hook it up. I was thinking about live streaming it while we're on the air.
That would be something.
We could do that. We could make that happen. Maybe some 2K, maybe some Madden. We could do that maybe once a week.
I'm down.
NHL 20.
I'm down.
I don't own a copy, but maybe I can get someone to get me a copy. We could do that.
So in all of this, okay, so I know you're a big hockey guy, and Spencer's a big hockey guy too.
Right.
And so in all of this, so a couple of years ago, I'd never been to an NHL game. Pens Canadiens was my first experience.
Ooh, okay.
Not long after I graduated. So now my fiance, Zadie Costco, is an incredible hockey fan. Big hockey fan.
She gets it, honestly.
Yeah, she's a Pens fan too.
Yeah, she gets. I know where she gets it from.
Oh yeah, you absolutely know. But runs in the family. But we were supposed to go to Pens Caps this weekend. So,
oh man,
obviously that's not happening. But I was excited about that one.
Oh man,
I was excited about that one.
That's tough. You hang on to those tickets though. Maybe you get to go in the future.
Maybe.
Just hang on to them.
You never know.
There might be a season. There might not be a season.
I hope there is.
There might be an expanded Stanley Cup playoff. There might be a contracted Stanley Cup playoff. I'm hoping for the expanded to get the Rangers in. They're only a couple of points out, 2 or 3 points right now for the wild card. Get them in.
All I know is I'm not in the playoffs in our hockey league.
Don't worry, Spencer's not either. And actually,
I was on an auto draft and finished ahead of a lot of people.
You know what's sad? He did.
And didn't make a lot of moves, including changing my lineup.
Okay, let me look
season.
at the standings right here. Here are the standings. Okay, I'm 1. Michelle Carroll from Channel 8 is number 2 in standings. And then a gentleman who is a friend with one of the coworkers here is 3rd in our league. And then coming in at number 4 is Cody Lynn from Marshall University, the SID. And trust me, he's clawed, scratched to get to that 4 spot because a lot of people in our league finished 10 and 11. It's like,
I think I was one of those.
Yeah, let's see. You finished. Where did you finish? You finished 9th at 10 and 11. So basically, if you had set your roster a couple more weeks, you might have been in the playoffs. And then,
which I would only occasionally set my roster because I'd get a text from you.
Yeah,
set your lineup, Luke.
Set your lineup, Luke.
Hey, well,
yeah,
there we
and
go.
I would send.
And that's why I bring you hand sanitizer and Coke.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I tell everybody, hey, set your lineup, all the time, except for Spencer. I didn't tell Spencer to set his lineup. I thought he had the sense to do it.
You gave me a couple heads up. You're playing Spencer this week. Set your lineup.
Yeah,
I beat him both times.
I did do that. To be fair, I did do that. But he finished 11th. And he only finished 11th because Adam Rogers, who formerly of this program as well, also works at Channel 13, just forgot. And since Sidney Crosby was out, despair set in. And then when Sidney Crosby came back, he came back and thought, oh, hey, it's playoff time. He came back a little too late.
Yeah.
So, and then this happened. But right now we're in the middle of the first week of the playoffs. And Yahoo has extended the game for 28 days because they don't know what's going to happen. Thankfully, we're not a cash league, so there won't be any hurt feelings.
That's true.
There will not be hurt feelings
That's
when
true.
I close the league down and declare myself champion with my number one standing. I'm 19-2. I'm the champion.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll give you that one.
Yeah, and
give you that
you're
one.
going to make the trophy, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I keep saying that.
I will make 3/4 of a trophy since we only got 3/4 of the way through the whole
3/4 is better than
the
no.
whole process.
Yeah,
There you go.
Are you actually doing the trophy? You know, you're
I can.
I know you're good with your woodwork.
Yeah. No, I can do the trophy.
Okay, I need a baseball one too because I won the baseball league, and I was not as good. I actually won that honestly through the playoffs, and the fact that injuries set in.
See, I've never done a fantasy baseball league. This was the first year I've done a fantasy hockey
I was
league.
set to do that again, and then this happened.
Yep.
Yeah. So I have nothing to do now. I look at the app every day, just like hoping that something would happen.
I'd be surprised if we see any sports this spring. You
No.
know, we can be as optimistic as we want to, a lot of the time. But you look at things like Conference USA came out today and canceled all spring sporting events.
Yeah, I saw that late last night. It was like a weird time they released it, like 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
8
Well,
o'clock Central.
that's besides the point.
Yeah, I was like, what? Like, why would you announce that now?
He's probably like laying in bed about to go to sleep. I'm like, forgot to send that one out.
Yeah, you got to send that. Hey, we canceled all spring sports.
Hit send. But no, if you're looking at things like this, the NBA is talking about being pushed back till possibly June, and now you're looking at college conferences canceling all sporting events. High school has to follow that, you would think. At least,
I would agree.
At least in some respect, and you talk about, like Coach Adkins was saying, you pick it up and maybe you play a 10-game season. At that point, why are you really doing it for? I get getting players some experience, especially if it's their senior year, because you can't get that senior year back. Everybody wants to play their senior year or junior year or whatever year it is. So be it, but. At some point, you got to take a hard look at that. Is it worth it? Nobody knows how long this whole virus thing is going to be around, how long any of this is going to last. And if professional leagues are doing it, I think high school, whether we like it or not, it is going to and has to follow suit.
Yeah, and I said this a few days ago, and I don't mean it to be callous, but I will say it again. Sports is adversity, and this is adversity. And you will learn from this adversity.
Yeah.
Because life is not always fair, and you don't always win, and it always isn't guaranteed. You don't get what you always want.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, sports is adversity. And you feel bad for these kids. You really do. But it's not a sad story for one school or one kid. Everybody has gotten their season taken away from them.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the big one here. It's, like we feel bad for this one kid who maybe lost a chance of their senior season, or this one team. You feel bad for them, and then you multiply that by everybody. Mm-hmm. And you don't
across the state of West Virginia.
Yeah, you don't know what to do because you want to give it back to them. You want them to have it, but you can't.
Well, and you look just across the river, Ashland boys basketball, 33-0, ripped through.
They were ready to win a state championship.
Absolutely.
And unfortunately, they might not get the opportunity.
Yep.
And they were legitimately the team to beat.
Oh yeah. Saw them early in the season against Spring Valley.
Yeah.
They're legit, for sure.
We're going to take our next break. We'll come back. We'll get your phone calls in, 877-420-TALK, 877-420-8255. Of course, we're going to lighten this show up a little bit here. We are going to have some fun. I don't know how. We're just going to do it.
I did a happy dance this morning when I saw Tom Brady wasn't coming back to New England.
Oh, we can talk about that when we continue on today's edition of The Drive. Wait a minute. You're more of an NFC guy. Why are you happy about that?
Just because I don't like Tom Brady.
All right, fair enough. You know what? My ultimate revenge plan is in motion because Andy Dalton might go to the Patriots.
Oh.
Yeah.
That would be something.
Yeah.
At least he'd get to see what a winning organization looked like.
Yeah, or he would bring them down to my level.
Also a possibility.
Let's see that happen. More on the way. It's The Drive, ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
This is The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
Welcome back to the Tuesday edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930. Paul Swann with you. Joining me in the program today, he is a former producer of this program. He's moved on to, you were like second in command over at the Herald-Dispatch. Is that how that works? You, and then it's Grant Traylor. Luke Creasy here in the studio.
Tim Stevens is somewhere in there.
He's like a free agent, man. He's like a wild card. He's a rogue agent.
And you got Rick Elmore. And, of course, Walsh in there a couple times.
Walsh is like another rogue agent. Hey, he's my guy. He on Mondays and football season. He's my guy. Hey. That's my guy. So we've got some breaking news happening. Kevin Durant is among 4 players for the Nets to have tested positive for the coronavirus. It is according to a report from The Atlantic. So it's hitting home again. KD's got it.
It's around.
Yeah.
It's one of those things like it's just been it's shown itself to be just so contagious. And I think one of the interesting things that I saw, especially after Rudy Gobert had tested, the news came out that he had tested positive for it. Somebody took the last 5 teams they played. They were in 5 different cities. The Jazz were before that night in Oklahoma City. And if you took those 5 teams and the teams they played, it affected all 30 NBA teams. Especially, and that's why, like, some people can say this is an overreaction. But if you're going to stop the spreading of this stuff, this is the way to do it. I'm not trying to get political or anything like that. Like,
well, it's not a political issue.
Yeah.
It's a health and safety issue.
You're stopping thousands of people from gathering together every night, supposedly. And that's how you stop this stuff from spreading. So, I mean, you hate to see, the biggest names being released as testing positive. But, these aren't the only guys that have it, too. You think of fans those players interact with, things like that, and people that might have it and haven't been able to get tested for it. So it's you always hear the saying it's going to get worse before it gets better, and I have a feeling that's where we are. But I think the country has responded well with how to best contain it. It sucks for sports fans, that's for sure.
Durant told the Athletic that he's feeling fine and not showing any symptoms. And there are 3 other players, they're asymptomatic. So
see, and that's what I think is the scariest thing about all this. Is same with Donovan Mitchell. He's asymptomatic. Wouldn't know it. But he's a carrier.
Yeah, so how do I protect myself if I don't see symptoms from you? How do you protect yourself if you don't see symptoms
from
me?
You stay home.
Yeah. You stay home, but for a lot of people, they can't. That's the hardship.
Yep.
And people in the media.
Yep.
Or at least in our field.
I still had to go cover a county commission meeting yesterday morning.
Doctors, healthcare providers, first responders. They can't stay home. No, we're not coming in. They can't do it.
Yeah.
And so there's always that risk at the same time. So we lose some ball games. So we lose some sporting events. We'll be okay.
Yeah, we'll be okay.
I mean, it's sad, but we'll be okay.
It's just another reminder that, sports are great, but sports aren't life. Sports are life for a lot of people. It's a way of life for a lot of people. You go from season to season playing travel ball and spring ball and summer ball, and you go into your regular season and that kind of thing. And it's a never-ending cycle, but I think when we get a chance to kind of step back from that, I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing a lot of the time, especially when you're talking about public health, public safety. This could be good. Well, I don't want to say the virus can be good but staying inside, that social distancing thing people keep talking about, it's the only way to stop this, especially since there's no vaccine and everything like that. And
we have to keep in mind that the reason you're doing this is because you're trying to limit the exposure, flatten the curve,
Yep.
and not overwhelm the healthcare system.
Yeah, that's another big part of this whole thing.
I mean, I watched wrestling for the first time in a long while from the WWE last night, just because it was Stone Cold Day. I'm a big fan of Stone Cold, and so I tuned in, and they're in their performance center, and they're empty areas, like what, seats 200 maybe. It was like watching scrimmaging and practicing. It didn't feel right.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that I would rather not watch sports than watch sports without fans.
Yeah, that's the thing. It just didn't feel right. It was I'm watching it and like, okay, they're practicing. This has to be what practice looks like.
Yep.
Without the energy of a crowd. And I'm glad that sports have been postponed because I don't want to see that. I don't want to see what hockey looks like without fans, or baseball or basketball. I don't want to see that. Well, okay, some teams, they don't have fans anyway, so this isn't new for them. But again, let's try to smile just a little bit about this. It's the truth, though.
I wish this virus would leave as fast as Tom Brady left New England this
Why
morning.
are you upset? Why are you hating on that? You love Tom Brady.
No. Well, okay. Now, so I wrote a column about this a long time ago.
Yeah.
It's probably about a year and a half ago. It's one of my first columns I ever wrote for the Wayne County News. I don't disrespect Tom Brady. You can't really disrespect 6 championships.
He's the GOAT.
He's a good football player. He's a great game manager. Now, in recent years, he hasn't been the great quarterback that he always was. And I think a new start's probably he's got a better shot at winning a championship outside of New England than he ever did in New England moving forward.
And Andy Dalton finally will make the playoffs and win a game if he's a New England Patriot. Maybe.
Or maybe the problem is just Andy Dalton.
I think the problem is Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton.
But this whole quarterback carousel again. I think it's been quite a few years since we've seen this many big name quarterbacks, start to move around. Drew Brees obviously not moving. He's signed to stay in New Orleans.
Teddy
Bridgewater on the move now. He's going to be in Carolina.
Cam's not happy.
So Cam's out. Where does Cam go?
Cam can't. Where can Cam go? Where can he go? Because you can't go work out for somebody.
Chicago?
Washington?
The Patriots? Does Cam Newton go to the Patriots?
Ooh. Yeah, but that's Andy Dalton's job. He can't go there. Where does he go?
But Cincinnati loves the redheaded quarterback.
No, he's gone. Joe Burrow is coming, and they franchise tagged A.J. Green. You know why? Got to have somebody to throw to.
It's true.
Got to have somebody to throw to.
Deshaun Watson can't throw to DeAndre Hopkins anymore.
Yeah?
That was nuts. Got next to nothing in return for him. Houston traded to Arizona.
I don't get that either.
I saw someone try to simulate that trade in Madden, and they wouldn't let him do it.
Because it's terrible. It's terrible. Which, by the way, that might be the show next week, me and Madden.
And then here's another crazy situation. So Baltimore trades a 5th-round pick for Calais Campbell to Jacksonville.
I don't get that.
For a 5th-round pick alone, it doesn't make sense. But how did the Ravens acquire that 5th-round pick? They traded their backup punter, Kari Vedvik, to the Vikings for that 5th-round pick, and the Vikings cut him 2 weeks later. And with that 5th-round pick, they turn around and get Calais Campbell. I'd say they won.
We're going to wrap this one up when we continue. Paul Swann, Luke Creasy with you. It's The Drive, ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
Don't worry. Paul Swann has the wheel on The Drive, ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
Welcome back to the Tuesday, March 17th edition. The Drive on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930. I'm Paul Swann. Luke Creasy with me from the Herald-Dispatch, HD Media. That means he's everywhere. Are you like a free agent for HD Media? You can go here, go there. I mean, are you like a roamer?
It's what it feels like sometimes.
Yeah.
I spend a lot of my time in Wayne County.
It's not a bad place to spend it.
No, not a terrible place. But you get, Spring Valley, Tulsa, Wayne, high schools coverage, county commission meetings.
What about the lady at the convenience store that
Board of Education
was telling you that you're not from here? Have you made friends with her since? Remember that story? I do.
That was a weird. That was a weird.
Are you friends with her now?
I do stop at Rebel Mart quite a bit.
Okay.
Only when I have to go out there.
All right.
They sell some great pepperoni rolls.
Okay. Do they do that? Can I drive up and get those? Do they have a drive-through window?
No.
I'm recommending that to everybody.
Drive-through windows?
If your business has a drive-through option or a carry-out option, I will tell people where to go and find you.
Yeah.
And by the way, go to our Facebook page. We have got listings for all kinds of places where you can get either grab-and-go lunches for your children since they're home.
Lots of local businesses stepping up and doing that.
So shop local if you can. Support them because
they need it right now.
We don't know. The governor's going to speak tonight about 6 o'clock.
Yep.
And soon as he is done making his proclamation, whatever it is, we're going to be in Sportsline at that point with Tony Creasy, and I'm sure they're going to follow up on it. So if you can't tune in, watch it live on TV. We'll have what he says coming up tonight as well. But I'm sure he's going to make a proclamation, shut some things down. And that's going to hurt a lot of businesses.
Yeah, well, I think that there's a lot of worry about that announcement too, because he was supposed to do his kind of daily update at 3 o'clock, and he said, nope, I'm going to do a statewide address at 6. And so, that can maybe we'll get a straightforward answer.
Yeah, whatever it is, I hope we get the answer. Just give us the direction.
There's been a lot of speculation.
Yeah, it has been. And I don't know how long we're going to have to weather this. It's going to hurt a lot of businesses.
It will. It will.
The good news is I'm going to be here as long as I can doing this. And if I can't be here...
And if I'm not covering baseball, I'll come...
Yeah, well, okay.
I'll call in. All right, if we have to do it that way, I'll call in.
We'll do that. We'll do a call-in. We can do a daily call-in. And
social stay-at-home distancing.
Yeah. Next week, we get to have the NBA 2K up here. Just
Hey, I'm hitting my stride in my career in 2K20 right now. I'm 31-11 with the Lakers. Yeah.
There you go.
I'm also 7'3", 260.
Wow.
Which isn't me in real life.
I played Madden for the first time in 6 months yesterday.
I like Madden.
I played arcade version mode, though.
I forgot how bad I was at video games. So I just got a Nintendo Switch for Christmas.
Oh, cool.
And when I got that, I got 2K. It's been years since I've played video games. And I didn't realize how bad I was until I tried to play, the Suns with the all-time Lakers team. You're talking like Kareem, Magic, Shaq, Kobe, and I lost by 30.
Ooh, you're not doing it right.
No.
Do what I do.
But I'm better now. I'm good now.
I played arcade mode to get my feet wet, and I played against the Dolphins.
There you go.
I needed a warm-up. I think I blew them out 42-14.
The Eagles thought they had a warm-up against the Dolphins at one point last year and lost that game. That's fun to watch.
Yeah, but you always get this upcoming season, whenever it starts, you've got a chance.
Yeah.
It'll happen.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Will Carson Wentz get to play a playoff game?
Will Carson Wentz ever get to play a playoff game?
And will Tom Brady be with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers like I think he will?
And will Andy Dalton be a New England Patriot?
He won't be in the playoffs.
We're going to find out. And will the Bengals actually get to the playoffs and win a game? Okay, yeah, I got it. And
You're pushing it.
And will they play hockey? That's all I care about. Will they play hockey? I'm still declaring myself the champion of the fantasy league.
Hey, you only lost 2 games.
I only lost 2, and I avenged those games, too.
Yep.
I got them back on the backside.
It's important.
And so I'm the champion.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I can't wait to see my trophy.
I'm going to socially distance, give you a crown. I'm going to throw it at you.
Okay. That's fine. If I get a bruise, that's fine. I'll take my trophy. For Spencer Dupuis. Hey, good job, Spencer, today. I appreciate that. For Spencer, I'm Paul Swann. Luke Creasy, thank you, sir. More tomorrow here on ESPN.